Fred, your house has walls and a roof.
Hello everybody, this is Dr. McBrick, and yes, this is the Flintstones house modified, so it is actually a house with 4 walls and a full roof. So let's just kind of go around. If you notice, the front of the house is basically the same identical front, but as we turn around, we see that we have full walls in that wonderful butterfly slate roof that the Flintstones had. And then we have the back of the house, which is like any normal backyard with some windows back there to look out. We have the nice fireplace that they've always had. The palm trees are growing like crazy. And there it is. There's the Flintstones house with all of its modifications. So let's take a look and see kind of what I did. And let me kind of tell you how I did it. First of all, what I did was I built the Flintstones house as is based on the instructions. Then, using a second set, I started to do a mirror build and build so that the house would always slant up because I didn't want one wall going this way and the back wall going that way. That wouldn't have worked. So the real lazy way to do it is slap 2 sets together. But if you did that, it would actually not look proper because one wall would be going one way and the side or in the back wall would be going the other way. As you see, basically did the same identical builds here on the side. So we have the side that's rounded and gives us that nice rounded carved Flintstones look. And then in the back, what I ended up doing was taking a mirror build and leaving the door filled in. So I had to use a couple of my own bricks for that particular part right here because this is the door on the model. As you can see, this is basically the front, just the front of the model, just as you would build it, except for you had to build it backwards so that it fit on the side of this build here, and so that it all kind of went in that slanted direction downward. So you have to build it opposite. And to be honest with you, with all of the plates and everything that are involved in it, it got a little tricky. It wasn't difficult, but it definitely, you had to pay attention and stay on your toes in order to get it proper on each side. And then what I decided to do was move the fireplace back from the front door. There were several reasons for that. The main reason really was because there is a fireplace in the original build, but the thing is, the fireplace itself is not seen in the model. Now, in order to move the fireplace, I moved the chimney. So from this side, I had to move the chimney over this side. Well, I didn't want to use a lot of my own bricks because part of the thing was to build this using the bricks that came with 2 sets, so that folks, if you want to do it, you can go ahead and do it and not have to add many bricks whatsoever. But what I did was I basically just used this extra couple pieces that were left. And this is kind of it's a secret compartment that kind of moves that you can actually access the house. And that is actually where the fireplace was in the original set. And then I had to fill in that hole right there just with a stone. But to put the fireplace on this side, I had to have this kind of indentation, this little niche here that I filled in. And I just filled in with this little door. You can make a trap door however you want. I made kind of a big stone trap door so that way you could access there. I also, the nice thing about doing a mirror build is you also get the 2 palm trees on the side here, and that really fills up this side and gives it a really nice full look. So, basically that's what I did, and tried to make it exactly the same in the back as it is on the front, except for the opposite build. And if you notice, if we look at the roof is very interesting because the roof pretty much is built the same way as it was in the manual, except once again, we kind of had to do an opposite build. And what I decided to do was to build this piece right here is a stud on the side. And that all fits up against there. And so I built that one. I built 2 of those, one for each side, so you'd have that nice rounded carved look there. And then I used the 2 big ramp plates here and just kind of did mirror builds. If you notice, it's just kind of a mirror of one another. The only problem I ran into was based on the space and everything, and because I had to have this niche over here for the fireplace, I had to add a couple, and these pieces were with the set. I had to add a couple of slant slant pieces there to fill in that gap that would have been there for the fireplace had it been on the original model. Remember, this part here is the original one. This is the extra set that I bought. And then I also had to kind of fill this in because this isn't long enough. If I would have made this side the same length as this side, we would have had a really huge roof, and that would look kind of out of proportion. As it is, if you've seen the Flintstones, you know that they have a roof that's overhanging, and they also have this butterfly roof that does this, and that's one of the things that I wanted to try to replicate, which is really cool if you ask me. But I think it turned out pretty well. But anyway, I tried to replicate each side, but you will notice that that this side is thicker than this side. So anyway, but it still turned out pretty well from what I can see. The windows, again, basically the same windows. Everything is the same. This would be another model, except for the door would be here in that particular model. And then for the landscaping and stuff, I just used the plants and the rocks all the way around it to kind of give you the idea that, it is a full-size house. Now, even though some people might think that this house is small, when we look at Emmett's new house, Emmett and Lucy's new house, and some of the creator houses, it's about the same size with all four walls on it as the other houses. And you can see kind of how it stacks up to the garage back there. It's a pretty decent sized house. So this would be a house that will be in our neighborhood here in Figsdale. So anyway, so that's what it looks like on the outside. Let's go take a look and see what it looks like on the inside. But before we look at the inside, I just want to show you the roof real fast on the back side. This is basically the only plate that I added that wasn't part of the original model. I added this plate, a 6x6 plate, because it kind of ties it all together. There is some modification and some opposite work and things you have to do. I used these plates, these tan plates that were from the set for the swing out builds on the house. They had the swing out builds in the back, but you don't use these anymore because you don't do the swing out build because you have the house that's a full-size house. So anyway, I use those to connect. No one can see underneath, just various pieces that were left over to connect and things like that. But it actually is a real solid roof. So anyway, so that's the roof. Now let's go inside and see what the house looks like inside. Again, this was a very cramped model, and it still is a very cramped model, as you can tell. But it's got a little more room than it had before. If we go around to the front here, in the original model, the fireplace was right here behind the couch. And actually, the fireplace was there, but the couch was in front of it, and you could never see the fireplace. So what I did was, like I said, I swung the fireplace over here and put it down below there. There still is the fireplace under here, but that's actually where the secret compartment is now, and can be accessed from the outside for Fred to put his special coins and all that kind of stuff in. But anyway, the fireplace is there. And one thing that I really missed on the original model that they didn't have, and I'm sure they just did it for, for peace purposes and things like that, just to keep piece count down, but they didn't put a mantle on the fireplace. And so I just used a little finishing tile, 90-degree tile there, to put a mantle on the fireplace so that it looks like there is the mantle. And in the Flintstones series, they had a mantle on the fireplace, and they have like bird statuettes that were real birds and stuff, and would a wisecrack as you walk by and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and now there's a place for the lamp. I just kind of use the 2x2 gray tiles as finishing tiles, just to kind of give you an idea that there are some stones there, that sort of thing. The TV is still in the same place that it would normally be. And normally in the model, the original model, there was a real tiny little sink suggestion right over there where there would be a kitchen. But that was awful small, and it wasn't really to size. I didn't think of mini scale. It was actually too tall. So what I did was I combined both of the sinks from each set, and I put them together in a bigger sink that actually is to mini scale size now. I took off a plate, and it made it a little bit shorter. There's the phone. Didn't have room to put the coffee table in front of the couch, because if I did, then the door wouldn't be able to swing open, and and it would just hit the coffee table, and that's not good. So I put the kind of a sideboard type of table over there, maybe where they eat dinner, that sort of thing, right next to the kitchen, and that is where the phone resides. Again, we have the curtains and all that sort of thing. So that's what the house looks like inside. Again, it's still cramped quarters because it is a small house, but when you look at houses such as Emma and Lucy's new house and some of the Creator 3-in-1 sets that are make into houses and stuff, this is actually about the same size. It's a pretty decent scale, and I think it will go in Figsdale really well. Now, the other great thing about buying 2 sets is look at all these parts. All kinds of parts and pieces are left over. From the car, which I only built 1 car. Obviously, you have 2 sets of minifigs, so you can keep one for you can keep a pristine set for your collection, and then keep one to play with. But anyway, there's all kinds of great parts, plates and all kinds of good stuff. A lot of different, a few specialty parts in here, and some parts that come specific to this set. And of course, you get the cool teal separators and stuff like that. You get an extra canopy for your car. So there's all kinds of cool parts should you want to use some, and you could also build more. There's nothing to say that you couldn't take these parts and build an even larger Flintstones house. And of course, you can add your own bricks and stuff like that. I thought about making a huge Flintstones house, but the Flintstones really didn't have a big house. It would have been nice to have a bedroom in the house and things such as that. But I just decided that, I think that this scale is about the right scale for Figsdale and about the right scale for the Flintstones. If I would have added another room, it would have been much bigger and started to get out of hand. So anyway, I thought that worked well. But certainly with those extra parts, you could even, I thought about, and I probably will at some point, make a dog house for Dino, because remember, Dino had a dog house, and since Dino is not in this set, I thought it'd be kind of cool to make kind of an empty dog house, and maybe a dog house with, that kind of looks sad and all that kind of stuff, because we're missing Dino and we really want to see him. So hopefully Dino will come along at some point in another Flintstone set, or at least in a minifig poly bag or something like that. Anyway, that is my Flintstones house mock, and that's about all I have. Have a great day. This is Dr. McBrick signing out.